Hello there, just a quick introduction before the video starts. This video is actually a kind of making of, if you like, for the video I posted previously, which is showed the end product, end result, if you like, of our garden. I started this project back in February of this year, 2023, and it's now mid-July. Back then I was working 5 days a week as a plumber. That's my trade and profession. So it's all fitted in between then. A lot of it was weekends when the weather was good. I had a lot of rain back then, unfortunately, or if I had enough light when I got in from work, I could maybe do an hour after work just to try and get as much done as I could, because I knew I wanted it all ready for the summer. I didn't want to start the project in the summer and it'd be finished sort of September time and no one would sit there outside enjoying it all. So so when you see the time lapses on the video, some of them are quite spread apart, so you can understand why I sort of really battling my day job, battling the weather to try and get it done in as short a time as possible. But anyway, I love doing it all, and so much so that I've since become self-employed and I'm actually doing this kind of thing for a living now. So I have my own business, Viking Garden Creations. I've got a Facebook page, Instagram page, if you want to look at some of my other work on there, and if you're interested in me doing this kind of thing, I'm based on the south coast of England in Hampshire. Yeah, give me a call, give me a message. I'd like to come around, have a look and see what I can do for you. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so this is the pond that I built about 18 months ago, and this will all be going. I've got 5 fish in there at the minute. I'm going to temporarily rehome them, and the plan is the pond is going to be coming out around here, back here, and I'm renewing all this paving, and that's all going to be tied in with a new pond. And I'm going to be having a stream. It's going to run, kind of follow that line there. And the waterfall's going to be in this area here. Build up a berm there, get a bit of a head height on it and run it back down towards the new pond. Can have a spillway bowl around about here and the waterfall coming in here. So yeah, I've just recently repointed this garage, renewed the gutter and fascia, so that's all done. So yeah, time to get digging and running the electrics to where I need to start with. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just got some red spray paint. I've marked out the sort of approximate area I'd like the pond to be, and I've based this angle. We're going to be cleaning this table up, and this is where we're going to be sitting on the patio. So I thought it'd be nice to, so the chairs have come out, I'm going to, inside the pond here, have a dry stacked wall, so I can cantilever the slabs over, so we've got a straight edge. We can sit up, dangle your feet in if you want in the summer, feed the fish from this point here. I've got the Aquascape skimmer going to be sitting in this section here. And then this sort of section here will be sort of flower bed, and the paving, if you like, starts from this section back to the wall. So this is going to be like a water runoff really. Slope the paving this way into some cobbles and mulch on this section. And then roughly where the waterfall's sitting at the moment will be the spillway bowl, and then the pond will be this kind of shape here. I'll adjust the shape as need be, but that's kind of like the area I've got to play in terms of my liner. And then I'll figure out, aiming the stream to sort of drop in here on a little waterfall here, like I said earlier, and just run that around there and have the waterfall facing this way so we can see it from the conservatory and the spillway bowl from this section here. Yeah, so let's see how we get on with that. Stop digging for a minute here because I've seen some lovely moss down here, which I'm going to pick up and I'm going to put to one side for when I start using the waterproof foam around the stream section for the rocks. This will be perfect for hiding those joints and make it look more natural. Okay, it's quite nice amount there. Now these stones I've been clearing from here, I'm not going to be putting back here. So I'm going to be repaving this, and I'm going to put some plum coloured slate along the back there. There's a bit of a water runoff, and I'm going to continue that. I'm going to build a footpath going there up to the shed where our rabbit is. the little stepping stones over where the stream will start from the waterfall. So that's all going to be plumb slate there. But what I'm going to do is keep these stones here, and in a minute I'm going to sieve them through and wash them, clean them up. I'm going to keep them. I'm going to mix them in with the pea gravel that I've got at the bottom of the stream and pond sections, and mix it in, so I've got some size variations, so it's not all the small 10mm stuff, and basically, yeah, reuse as much of that as I can. And nearly 3 buckets of clean pebbles. That'll do for what I need for now, which is great. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I've just measured away from the conservatory wall just over 1200mm. My paving slabs are going to be 600 deep each, so I've left enough for a joint between them and from the wall, and I'm just going to cut the turf nice and easy, nice straight line up to the end there, clear all that, and I'm going to dig down about sort of 6 inches there to get the MOT type 1 sub basin ready for under the paving before the cement and then the tile, which obviously I will be doing throughout this whole area, but I'm going to start excavating that area there because I need to run my electrics for the 4 power points into the pond from this outdoor weatherproof box here. That's going to go under the ground there, trench it in, and it's going to bring it up somewhere near here. Skimmer's going to be going around about here. This is going to be a bed. Pond will start on this edge where it's going to be here, so I'm going to fix it on a couple of small pieces of timber, cement in the ground, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do to cover them afterwards, so I haven't got 2 double sockets sticking out the ground in between a load of rock. Okay, so I've got this area here now. It's squared off where I want to be. So this is how far the paving's going to come out away from the conservatory. Obviously I've got that angle to cut in there where it's going to overhang the pond. So I've got this walkway here which goes to the front of the house. This section here, right, I'm going to dig in a footpath here because that's going to be where the Aquascape biofalls goes. The waterfall's going to be around here. We still need to get to the shed where the rabbit is, so I'm going to build a footpath. It's going to be filled in with some plumb slate, and that's going to kind of wave its way around there. There'll be a couple of stepping stones to go over the small stream at that point into the shed, and then that will continue on from here, and then that is that. So what I've got to do now is dig all this down. So when I dig down 150 for the sub base, and then I'll have about 50mm for the concrete plus the slab, and I'm working all the time from the depth of these paving slabs on the driveway here, so everything has got to correspond with that, obviously allowing for a slight drop in level for rain to run away, but yeah, that's where everything's going to be worked from that point there. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm clearing this section of garden here where the biofalls is going to go for the waterfall. So I've got a load of plants and grasses out there I want to keep, so I just temporarily bucketed them. So I'm just clearing this topsoil here, and then what I'm going to start doing then is all this soil I'm digging out of here is going to be brought over here and become a berm to build it up around the waterfall, so it doesn't just look like one of them sort of volcano effects, waterfalls just rising out of nowhere. So I want to bring it up quite high, bring it around. I want to keep this bush here. So my idea is that the waterfall will be aiming towards the conservatory when it's flowing, and it's going to pool a little bit, and then the stream is going to go back this way and around to the pond in that direction. I need to leave half decent bit of grass between the stream edge and the conifers because I still need to get a ladder up there a couple of times a year, give that a trim. It's a bit of a beast. So yeah, that's the only thing I've got to keep in mind with regards to that. So I will continue clearing this and let you know how we get on. Okay, so what I've just done there, I've just roughly sat the Aquascape Biofull 6000 where the waterfall's going to be starting. Obviously I need leveling up and sinking in a little bit. I was just trying to get a viewpoint from the house, from the conservatory and the kitchen window, where we can sort of enjoy the waterfall there from that angle. And then obviously when we're sat in this decking area, paving area is done with the table, we'll be looking at the spillway bowl coming this way. So got a little robin, we'll just sat on it at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going to have a little play with that, spray around it, dig it in level, and then probably leave it overnight and see how I feel in the morning, sort of looking out on it, and if it needs any adjusting before I start building the berm up around it. So I think that'll be it tonight. Getting that done, tidy everything away, start again in the morning. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the position of the biofalls now. What I've done is I've got these cinder blocks I've had stacked up. I had them left over from when I built the seating area over here a couple of years ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these stacked up and cemented in place. It's a bit of a retaining wall, and I'm going to have them just out in front of this fence here. And that's going to give something for this soil to sit against, so if this fence panel ever needs to come out, it can still come up on its sliders, and I've not got, you know, a ton of soil weight against it. Also not good for the damp, so I'm going to just sit that wall up here just as high as the top of the biofalls, and then that gives something for the soil to sit into when I build the berm up. So just protect that fence panel a bit. So yeah, that's what today's job will be. So for this concrete mix, I'm using a ratio of 4:1. So that's 4 of ballast, which is sand and stone mixed in a bag already mixed, and 1 cement. And I'm just using this little snack pot, filling this up 4 times with the ballast, 1 with the cement, mixing it in, using water and a little bit of plasticizer, which helps it become a better bond and stops it cracking. So I'm mixing up 2 lots of that. So basically there's 8 lots of ballast and 2 lots of cement in here, just to give me enough for the next block. And okay, so that's the first 2 courses done. This one here I'm going to leave and stagger it over, because obviously I've put a block on each half and overlap for strength. I'm going to angle this up so the berm's going to slope in towards the bush. I don't want it going straight up, so keeping those staggered there is going to be fine, that end. And here I've cut this end block, square that up, so that would be a straight line. I only need 1 more course, and that would take me just below the height of this biofalls, and then I can build it up with soil and some rocks and some planting at the very end. Okay, so that's the retaining wall done. I've kept it straight edge down this side. I'm going to build that once the soil's built up. There are going to be some boulders and rocks that are tying with what I've already got there as a little habitat, and that'll hide that edge, because that'll be the edge that you'll see more from the conservatory. This edge I've left staggered because I'm going to build that berm down at an angle, some boulders to retain the soil around the base of this bush here, and then that'll slope there, so you won't actually see any of that staggering. That will be covered with the soil. So yeah, I'm going to let that set now. Okay, what I'm going to do now is fit these 2 bulkhead fittings that come with the biofalls. We've got the bulkhead here with a cap plug that screws into it, and we've got another one here with a glued adapter with the glue that the 63mm pipe will run into. They give you 2 inlets into this the Biofall 6000. This one here I'm going to cap off. This one here will have the pipe connected. That will come out here, and it will be trenched left hand side of the stream, running back up there. There will be a T and a reducer going to the spillway bowl that's going to go into this side of the pond, and then eventually into the pump housing in the skimmer box, where we'll all start from. So that's going to come up there, trenched in, and then into here. So I'm going to get these fittings in. These bulkheads are left-hand thread, so what you actually need to do, excuse me, we've got a nut on here, we've got a soft rubber which goes water side, the hard washer which goes on the dry side, and they're tightened in. Big pair of channel lock grips, and same for this one here, but this one will thread in here, and I say we'll glue that in there. When we're gluing that in, get glue on the inside of here, outside the pipe, hold it for a good 20-30 seconds, make good contact. These are probably two of the most important joints on the job, so these need to be absolutely rock solid watertight, otherwise we're going to be losing water, which we don't want on a pond and waterfall. Okay, so I'm going to start with the plug. I'm going to screw that in out of situ before we put it in the biofalls. I'm just going to put a small bit of silicone on this thread. This is fish safe silicone, so we're not going to have any issues with contaminating or poisoning the fish or any other wildlife that wants to have a little drink. So I say this goes in here. This is a standard thread, righty tighty. Let's give that a little nip up. You want to overdo it, it's only plastic thread, so you just want to go by feel. You don't want to force it in there and split the plastic. Clean that silicone off. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, so this is going to be going this way in the tank, so we want the hard washer on the outside. I'm going to belt and brace this. I'm going to put silicone between every washer and every bit of plastic. So we've got that there, that will go there, and then in a minute we'll have the rubber washer on the inside with silicone and this nut tightening it up. So I'm going to push the bulkhead that we've just made up in the hole. We're going to say belt and braces it, a bit of silicone on the other side of that joint as well, on that hard washer. There. And then silicone here. You only get one chance to do this, so belt and braces the first time. Okay, like so. And then on there. And this is the left-handed thread. So being a plumber, it's kind of doing my head in. I'm so used to tightening up that way. So tighten it on there. Go as tight as we can with our hands. And then just going to give it half a turn or so with the locks. Again, went the wrong way being a plumber. We're going to go this way to tighten it. There, so the silicone squeezes out. And that should be good to go. Okay, so all I'm doing now is all the soil I'm digging up from the area in front of the conservatory for the paving, I'm bringing over here in the wheelbarrow, building up this berm. This is going to be coming out around here, this is going to be 2-stage waterfall before it goes down to the stream that way. So I'm going to build this up using a tamper. It's nice and compact, so then I can carve it to the shape I want for the 2 shelves and the little pooling area. And I start putting the frameworks in later on. Just get this nice and solid. And keep going like that. Just a little bit of progress on the berm I'm building up around the waterfalls. So this is how far I've excavated so far, all by hand. I've changed my mind on what I was going to do here. I was going to have slabs and a slab here. What we're going to do now, after speaking to my wife, this section here inside the red line will be all slabs, and then it will be slabbed in front of the patio doors here. But I'm going to just take off probably the top 3 inches of soil here, and what we're going to do, I'm going to fill that with topsoil, give it a bit of a bed, and then I'm going to put the plum chippings on top of here, but I'm going to plant some lavenders sort of within the plum chippings, so probably going to get about three lavender plants there to attract the bees. We've already got a lavender over here by the wildlife pond, and that is a real winner for the bees, so that'd be nice. I may even end up putting one more here, so we could have 4 along here, and that'll sort of just break up the monotony of the patio, the paving, before I put the path this way. So far we've got the berm being built up, and this is going to be come up to this height here. I've just got these couple of cinder blocks here just holding the soil back, because I'm going to rock that in around the base of the plant, but I haven't got the rocks yet, so that's just holding that soil back from going too far, and I can take them out later. But yeah, building this up, so this wall I've built, doing a good job keeping the soil from sitting against the fence, which is what I didn't want. And this is going to be built up to about this level here, and then I'm going to topsoil it at the end, and then this is going to be planted with various plants, some wildflowers, sort of insect friendly plants, and some boulders on the wing walls, just to sort of blend it in with the landscape as it comes down. And obviously the waterfall will be coming this way and then running around to the stream, eventually to the pond. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. Okay, so what I'm doing now is marking out the height of the existing patio or paving slab, because all my levels of my new paving is going to be governed by this height here, because this is what I'm renewing up to. So all I've done here is I've got a long straight edge, and I've put my level on it. I've held it up. I've just got an old copper pipe in the ground, so it's holding that level. So what I'm going to do then is do the same thing, put some other marker poles in the ground at level height, and that way I know what height my paving is that I'm working to. And then I'm going to come down, I'm going to allow the 22mm for the slab that I'm going to be the new slabs, 50mm concrete, and 150mm is going to be the base, the thickness of my sub base. So that is what I'm going to be marking out now. So basically I want to put a load of pegs in at a height of 150 for my base, and that is what I'm going to be filling in the next stage, getting all the MOT type 1 sub base compacted in, whacked in at a level, so I can start clearing some of these bags off my driveway, because at the minute I've got those down there at the minute, 3 bags down there, 2 bags here ready for the pond and the plum chippings, and I've got some boulders and some stones coming as well as the York stone for the retaining wall in the pond. So I need to start clearing some of this off the driveway, and then keep working that way. So yeah, I'll show you what I'm up to in a moment. Okay, so what I've done here is that peg you've just seen me put in, I've put a level line and I've knocked in another bit of copper, so that is level. So here, if I was continuing that paving level, which obviously I'm going to be sloping it away from the house slightly anyway, but this is going to give me a rough guide. That is level on there. So what I've done is I've measured down 22mm, which is the thickness of the paving slab, plus a 50mm for the depth of concrete, and that is my height there. So from there up is what I'm going to be filling in with my MOT type 1, and so I'm going to make a series of level marks off there along the trench. So I've got a rough gauge to work to for the depth of that sub base. Okay, so what I've got now is a series of copper pegs. You could use stakes of wood, does the same thing. Now these are all levelled off each other, all the same height in this trench. So this is the height that I'm going to be building my sub base up to. So I'm going to start getting that filled now. Lovely. Let's get some of this armoured cable trenched in before I fill it in with the MOT. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just unearthing the electrics and plumbing to the pump in the pond at the moment. Getting rid of all this slate rock that I've got. I'm going to be repurposing this around the stream. I'm not going to, only a couple of years old, so it's a lot of money there, so I'll be repurposing that. So just digging out the electrics which come from my wife's craft shed which I made her, so just digging that up, unearthing that, getting the pump out, take my man-made waterfall apart and getting the fish out the pond and putting them in a temporary storage tank, an old cold water storage tank I salvaged from a job, give it a clean out, put the pump in there, and that should serve the job a couple of weeks, just to keep them safe and obviously alive in water. So just keeping all these nice Scottish river pebbles which I've got scattered around here as well, so these will all be repurposed in the stream section. So yeah, still doing a lot of the groundwork at the minute, but the sun's shining and it's a good day to be doing it. So now you can see my first homemade waterfall in all its naked glory. It's basically a timber box I made up, filled it with sand for weight and covered it in waterproof lining. Used the pipe from the pump, the copper pipe, buried it under the rock, made a waterfall. Anyway, I know that the biofalls is going to look a lot better and do a lot better job cleaning the water. So I've unearthed now all the electrics, so they run from the craft shed there. So what I'm hoping to do is just redirect them around the corner here, fill up that tank with the pond water, got a little submersible pump, and get the fish out, just run the plumbing over to there. I've got some netting for the top and I'm going to use some sheets of wood or maybe even that big cardboard box there just to give them a bit of shade from the sun, otherwise that black tank is going to heat up quite quickly. So I'll do my best obviously to protect them over there. Okay, so I've got my submersible pump now, draining out the water into the temporary tank from fish are safely in a bucket at the moment, and I'll put them in. Once you've got this one, fill up over here. Water's been pumped out and in there now, so I've got a plant in there, fake log. So yeah, get that filled up. Then I can start clearing the rest of this old pond site, saving all the rocks, just being careful because I know I've got some frogs around here, which is what I wanted, so got to be careful. If I see any of them, I'll try and rehome them over there to the wildlife pond, and then hopefully they'll come back to the fish pond once the new one's built. Okay, so this is what I was saying about my little frog. You can see he's just behind that rock there, so I've got to lift this one off very carefully. He's just there if you can see him. So I'm going to get him out into a bucket and pop him in the wildlife pond on the other side of the garden very carefully because I don't want to lose him or her. There's a little fella. Okay, it's time to rescue. And hopefully he or she will be happy in this pond for a little while. Excuse all this dusty film on the top. It's where the pigeons come down and have a little wash and just leaves this film on top of the water. It clears in a couple of days and they come down and do it again. So I've just seen another frog in the pond. So I'm going to do the same with him, pop him into a bucket and put him in the wildlife pond. That's where they all started as tadpoles, and so a couple have come over here and a couple have stayed in the wildlife pond. So we'll get him out and pop him in. And there's the old pond. So I've just spray painted out the outline of the pond. That's where the skimmer is going to be sitting. We're going to have the retaining wall, dry stack wall there, patio going over it. We're going to have 2 shells, maybe 3, and then a little bit's already dug for me. So I've got me with different size rocks out in the driveway, and I've just been putting them on the sack truck through here, over my little bridge, and I'm just moving them, really just to clear a bit of room on the driveway. The bigger size of 300 to 600 mil rocks on here, and I've just going to put a couple here as a bit of a retaining wall. Now I'm starting to build this berm up a bit more, just to stop that soil falling over there, and I want to slope that down to around the tree. And obviously similar to this side, just going around the bush. Yeah, coming along nicely. Just a bit more progress now. I've got the sub base up to where I want to be, joined onto the driveway. So it's just a case now of excavating this as I go. I've just shaped out the area now where the patio is going to come up to, which is going to be here. And then that's going to be the line where it hangs over the wall of the pool, of the pond. And just getting the turf out, still building up the berm. Got a few more of these big rocks in just as retainers as I build this up now. So this will be covered in topsoil and some mulch at the end. Still got to build that waterfall forward here, and it's going to be streaming around that way. So yeah, lots of digging, lots of shifting. Probably moved 1.5 tons of sub layer today, and all the stuff I've dug out to make space for it into the skip and up on the berm. So yeah, my back's feeling it at the moment. Okay, another little update. So I'm still excavating all this area here. I've got to move these old slate pieces from the old pond. Probably move over to there on a bit of boarding later on. Because obviously I'll get all this dug up here at some point. I've discovered there's a layer of bricks next to the garage wall here, and I'm going to keep them. I'm going to dig up to them because that's a solid foundation. That allows me something to cement onto as a level base to bring the paving slabs this way. That allowed me to meet up to that edge under the dust sheet there for the driveway blocks. So yeah, basically excavating this area, and then I've been building up the berm. I've got, I think, about 10 of these 3 to 600 mil Cumbrian boulders in place as retainers as I'm building up this berm. So I'll still be building this out a little bit here because the waterfall's going to come out this way, and then the stream is going to disappear down there. Making the most of the weather. Really nice day today, hence washing on the line. Excuse that. So yeah, just getting this secure, these boulders, and then using up the good soil here. Again, this will be topsoiled and mulched before planting. It's coming along. It's a lot of lifting, a lot of digging, but it'll be worth it in the end. I've dug down. I'm getting close to where I've run this soak away from the new guttering and downpipe. So as you can see here, I've left this section here a bit higher, and this is actually going to be filled with topsoil, and it's going to be the flower bed. So the paving is going to come up to this edge here. That'll be built up with some paving, and it's where the electrics are going to be in the auto dosing system for the pond, and then the pond line is going to start on this section here. So I've got this lot left to dig up and put in the skip, and then all this decent soil from where the pond's going to be dug out is going to be continued over to the berm and building up to the waterfall where the stream joins it here, because this is the ground sinks down here, so this will be carried through. So I've got a bit more retaining stone and some slate here. Again, this is all going to be topsoiled, mulched, plants sort of planted around here to blend it all in, blend the terrestrial and the water line in together. Have some creeping plants over the rocks and some grasses just to fill it all in, and along the stream section is where the wildflowers and the insect friendly plants are going to be before it goes down into the pond. The patio area is finally dug, yay! So now I'm going to load in the rest of this sub-base chip-ins, get this filled. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just got a spare bit of 4x2 and I've staked it into the ground with some copper pipe either side, just to bring this edge up a little bit here, because this is going to be filled with topsoil up to the height of that before it hits the pond. This will be a planting bed and where my electrics and the auto dose are going to be going. So really it's just fun to me to compact this hardcore into as I work my way across there. Obviously that will come out later, but it's just to give you a guide. I've taken a level from my starting edge there, and it's just running downhill, which is what I want, towards this side here, so any rain runs into the planting area there. Just a little look at the rocks I've got stacked outside ready. I've got these large Cambrian boulders. These are 300 to 600 mil, and I've got a selection of the 150 to 200s. I think there's about 150 rocks in there, and then I've got about 40 or 50 of these 250 to 300s. I've got the York stone to the dry stack wall in the pond. I've got some plum chip-ins for the pathway and to go over where the lavenders will be planted, and some river shingle, river stone for the bottom of the pond and the river stream section. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start planting up the back behind the biofalls and down this side here, which then leads me this side when I need to put all the filter inside the biofills itself, so it gives me a clear runway without trampling on anything. So what I've got planted at the minute, this low growing carpet spreading type plant here. This was saved from my old pond, so I put that in. I've got an allium planted here. I'm just digging a hole here for one of my old grasses, and I've got these 4 different junipers I've got here, some blue tinged ones and some greenish tinged ones. Just put a layer of topsoil down first, and then I'm on top of that putting down this bark, which is going to act as a bit of a weed barrier, and also when it rains it keeps the damp in, keep the roots of the plants damp, also gives it a nice effect when it's all done. So just working my way down this side really today, just to sort of clear some of these plants from the garden really best I can, and make it look a bit prettier as I'm working my way down the front edge, ready to build the stream in. So I've got this half planted now, just the top section, and down this side here got the junipers. I've got a fern here that I reused from where this all was before. Just gone down to this side. Just allows me then to climb up here, give that a clean out and put the biofalls in when the time comes. And then over here had a bit of a change of plan. The paving is now actually going to go out to here instead of this being the lavender bed. I will have the lavenders at this point here. It's just because we've decided on a different patio set, table and chairs, which means the pond's going to come out a bit further. So I've just built this other little retaining wall, and the pond's going to come to here, and that's where the York stones are going to come up with the paving cantilevering over there. So a little slight change, but nothing too drastic. Anyway, let's see what we can do next. Okay, so we got some rain that's coming now. You can see it's a bit of a quagmire in the pond section, but I'm going to carry on. I've got some more hardcore delivered. I'm going to get the rest of this brought in from the front with the wheelbarrow, get that done at least, and then hopefully in a few days the rain will stop and I can actually start digging out the pond shells a bit more. It's pointless at the minute, it's just a bit too messy. Anyway, great British weather. It is March, I suppose, early March, so what do you expect? Okay, it's another day. It's a bit blustery, but it's dry, so I'm going to crack on a bit more. So I've wheeled round one pallet of Alcoa bluestone paving round to the back, and get that pallet broken up, put in the skip, clear the driveway as I go. So I've got all that loaded up here, hardcores all down that end there. So I'm going to start paving from this way out, like I said before, because I've got to. I'm governed by the height of the stones from the driveway there, the block paving. Probably work my way along here. Just leave those doors free so I can actually get in tonight, because obviously this is going to be out of action. So going through the conservatory doors, and then hopefully the weather stay good the rest of the weekend. I can work my way out and see how we progress. Okay, so what I've done here is just applied a slurry mix that I've mixed up from a powder with some water to a depth of about 1 or 2 mil to the back of these paving slabs before I lay them down onto the mortar. The mortar I've mixed to a ratio of 5 to 1, 5 sharp sand, 1 cement, and this is just to help the tile, sorry not the tile, the paving slab takes the mortar and stops it sort of peeling off in layers on the underside. Because this is not too wet, kind of still stays formed in your hand. It's the ideal bedding mix. Just using this paddle mixer to mix it in the bucket. So I got home from work and I decided to finally trench the pipe in, the 2-inch pipe that is going to go from the pump in the pond up to the biofalls. So just trenching, keeping the soil, the grass even on one side, repack it down, and then I'll topsoil it over, rake it in. That'd be good as new. So I just got that to go. Obviously it's going to tee off for the spillway bowl. It's going to sit here and then follow down there into where the pump housing is going to be sitting there in the skimmer box. So yeah, that'll be tonight's job. Okay, just another little update. 2-inch pipe going from the biofalls back down to the pump. It's all trenched in. I've got an isolating valve on this, and spillway bowl is just sat there as a rough idea. What's going to happen is this is to isolate the waterfall section. I'm going to keep trenching the main pipe underneath here. It will have a tee off with another float valve, ball valve, sorry I should say, to isolate the spillway bowl, and then the main pipe will continue trenched in around there and then fed from the pump. So I can basically isolate either the spillway bowl or the biofalls through these valves. And what I'm going to do is, once they're in the ground, I've got this 6-inch pipe. I'm going to cut that so it fits around the pipe. That'll sit over there. I'll be able to isolate that and stop it getting filled up with soil. And I'll do that for both valves. So a little bit of maintenance proofing for future. And at the minute, just getting the slabs down over there. Got a couple of cutaways. I'm going to plant some lavenders in there. It's going to be filled with some topsoil and then covered with the slate chippings. So yeah, just trying to move things along in and out of the rain at the moment. just temporarily put the other plants up on the waterfall section there, just to keep it off this grass till I can get enough of the groundwork done to plant them properly. But it's coming along slowly but surely. And yet another day rained off from doing anything out here. It's just not stopping at the minute. Oh well, be back on it soon. So, just got in from another day after work. Another day of rain. See what I can get done. Been sort of chipping away at the pond for an hour or so when I got in from work, going with the light and the weather this week. I've got the skimmer box sat in there, but as you can see, it's ground so clayey, it's just holding the water. So there will be, say, another shelf I'll be cutting out of here, and then this section here will be the 1 metre down. So I think what I'm going to get done now, while it is dry and windy, is just connect this last piece of pipe. I've just got that blocked off with a bag and a stone there. Didn't really creatures, frogs and me going down the pipe work. Get that into the outlet for the skimmer box, and then I'll be running the overflow around there, the inside of there, because I'm going to fill that in, and the York stones are going to be going here. So I run my overflow to a flower bed and the grass that way. I can't run it this side due to the paving going down here. So yeah, I'll see if I can get that done today, and hopefully we've got some better weather planned from Sunday onwards. This patio finally reached up to that sort of area up there, and then concentrate a bit more on the pond. Just to say, still got this stream area to get dug out and the waterfall area to build. But the weather just isn't playing ball at the moment. Good old English springtime. Well, actually summertime now, clocks have moved, but it feels like autumn. Anyway, that's it for now. Okay, so sun is shining at last. Pigeons are on the feeder. Got some more slabs down today, making the most of the weather. And got the plumbing into the pump, so that's all connected. Pump's just in the garage at the moment, but pipe works into the fitting on the side there. And just got to run the overflow, dig a little pit over there once I've finished with the cement mixer. But yeah, coming along there nicely now. I can actually do something. Now it's stopped raining. Still got a bit of water sitting in the bottom there, but that'll probably evaporate very soon. Okay, onwards and upwards. Okay, so just trenching in the overflow from the pond housing pump. So what I'm going to be doing, I've drilled a little hole through the side here, not to disturb the strength of this pond side. Trench that out, and I'm going to run that down there to some shingle, membrane over. Just cut the pipe at an angle so when it goes down, the mud's not going to drop inside it. And I'm going to put some soil, hold that against the side, and then sand against the side. That'd be the edge of the pond then. So let's get the shingle in. Get some more shingle and that'll be filled in. One more bucket. Lovely. Okay, so I'm at a stage now where I've got last row of slabs to go in. That'll be tomorrow. Let these dry. I've done today, so I can kneel on them and work on that. So we've got this area here. I've just put the Aquascape auto dosing system in the ground, plugged that in, I've screwed on the adapter to the side of this piece of wood I've run all my electrics to. So that's in there. Obviously the leveler come up with the saw a bit later on. I'm going to just run the hose here into the pond once it's actually a pond. You can run the hose into the pumping station there, but I've wanted the auto dosing system. The hose won't be long enough, so I'm just going to drip that into the pond. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is just finish this last bit of excavation for the fourth little tier down the bottom. This is cement. It's going off here. It's concrete's going off here that the last row of slabs is going to go onto, and that's going to overhang. I'm going to have some York stone as a dry stack wall on this end here. So if you look where this line of this slab is here, and I'll cement over there, tie them slabs in at the end. So I think I'm going to mark out for the stream section, get that dug out so we can see where that's going next. Make use of the weather. So what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting this road pipe. It's super strong. It's what they use for the drainage and the pipes under the roads. It can take a lot of weight, so I've just cut a section off, cut the ends off to square it, and then cut the fish caves. So I thought, just going to cut out for one about here, and probably one on this side here as well. So yeah, let's get making the fish caves. So this is now the final shape of the pond. Maximum depth down here to grade level is 90 centimetres, which is a good depth. I've got the two fish caves in. Got 4 shelves, there's sort of 3 major shelves. I've got this little extra one at the bottom. I've done a bit of a cutout on this fish cave here, so I can put some rocks on this side, and it gives them a little hole, so if they want to they can come and swim out the top of it, which I thought might be a bit interesting. So yeah, that is the shape of the pond. All ready for, I'm going to put some sand, line it with sand, give it a little bit of a bed. It's a little bit stony around here. Before I put the bottom liner in, then the actual waterproof membrane liner, and then before I put the rocks on, I'll be putting another layer of fabric just to protect the liner again. Do this properly and do it once. I'm not going to be doing all this again, so yeah, just protect as much as I can. Right, now as I promised earlier, I will be marking out this stream section now. Now I've finished the pond. So I've just sprayed out the outline where I'm going to have the stream. I'm going to have split the waterfall. I'm going to have a bit coming this way and a bit coming this way here. I'm going to put a boulder here to sort of split it at this point here, so it sort of flows 2 ways. Just looks a bit more interesting. So I've got a little narrow point here. I'm going to eventually build a bridge that goes over to the seating area here. So I've just narrowed it a little bit there. So it's quite an interesting shape. And I've got to allow for a flower bed either side as well, but still being able to get a pair of steps up to keep these conifers under control. So I think that's a decent position. Might have to move the washing line, but it's no big deal if I have to. But yeah, that's what I'm going to start excavating for the stream, and then we'll figure out what I'm going to do with this waterfalls when I get there. Yes, coming on nicely. Sun shining. I'm going to get the liner and a bit of the pond rocked in today, make most of the weather, because we've got rain in 2 days time and I can't keep having this flooding. So I've got the stream section dug out, built it up a bit this end because the garden slopes towards the waterfall, so it's actually the wrong way around. So what I've actually done is build up the sides here and then filled in the bottom, so it's sort of shifted the elevation, so it's got a bit of a slope going back down here. I'll be digging out the sides for planting and some stones and the rocks, give it some variation as well. So yeah. Okay, so we've got a layer of sand, filled with soft sand around the ledges there. So next step, get the liner in. Okay, so the main liner's in now. Bit of fun doing all that by myself. It's a 7 metre by 6 metre liner. I work out those creases as I go. I've just got these stones on the outside holding it, but I've given it enough slack in the bends and where the fish caves are. Let's start getting some rocks in there and let's just start taking shape. That's a good bit done. Okay, so I'm just going to get this river gravel in the base here, level it off, get this bottom shelf gravelled out and levelled, and then I'm going to start building up the Yorkstone dry stack wall here, ready for these paving slabs to be set on top of, and then I'll be rocking the rest of it. Okay, so here's the stack wall. It's been rocked in. Got a light fitting wide in. Just getting some line down, ready to put the heavier boulders on here. And the slabs will continue over the top. There's some cement there that won't ever be in the water. Water level's going to be about here, so the cement will be absolutely fine up there, supporting those rocks. So I've just connected up the pump inside the skimmer box housing to this check valve elbow. There's basically a flapper valve in there, so if you need to carry out any maintenance on the pump, you can disconnect it, and the valve inside here stops all the water from the pipe work running back into the box. It's a useful connection. It fits on there really easy. So I'm actually using the Aquascape SLD 2000 5000 adjustable flow pond pump. I can control that via an app on my phone. So I've also cut the liner around the skimmer box, which was quite a pain. This, I must admit, I was dreading that bit, but that went nice and smoothly. So I've got the plate screwed through and then cut through the liner. That's all in there ready to go. And so the weir door's down at the minute, so I can adjust that when I get the level ready. So I started rocking in the pond yesterday, and it got late, and I thought I'd do a video first thing this morning. And then we had a load of rain last night, so at least I got the liner in. But I've got one of the aerators there, and there is another one in the deeper part here, which is now underwater. So it's just a bit windy now, rain stopped. So I'm going to start getting some more rocks in. Let's see how far I can get today. Let's keep on working on it. Just a little more progress. Rocking's coming in nicely now. I've got one of the lights in. Where are we? It's there. And the other ones are just going to be going in. One's going to be aiming up that way. I'm going to have one up the spillway bowl around there. So let's get in there. We're going to need some more rocks as well. It's amazing how much these holes eat these rocks up. There's still some for the stream. And I'll save the bigger ones for the waterfall at the top. So we'll keep going until I run out, and probably get some more ordered in. Okay, on this. Sorry about the wind, it's a bit of a blustery day here. So what I've done is I've actually got the streamliner just loose laid down with rocks at the moment, just so I could get the start of it running down here. What I've done is I've used the slate from my old pond, and they're going to act like a bit of a ledge for the water to run over. So what I'll be doing is foaming all around here, probably putting some moss in this gap here, foaming all down here as well. So basically the water run off these here. Also I'm going to foam in this little section where this light is around here, so this little ceiling will be like a little pool for the water to reflect in the light, which I thought would be quite nice as it comes off that little nib there. So I'm just going to tidy up the liner edges now, start trenching these electrics that I've got so far, because I've got one light, 2, 3, one over there, so 4 lights here. I've got a total of 6, so I'm probably going to put one halfway down the stream in a little deep well, and then one up at the waterfall, later on. Okay, so another update. I've got the start of the stream section rocked and gravelled in, got some moss foamed in there just to fill in some gaps and to make it a little bit more aged. What I'm currently just doing now is making a little bib liner down here. I'll just cut this piece of liner here. I'm going to fit that there, foam that in place, let the light shine through, so then when this drips down, this will pull up around here before running down into the main pond. So again, it's a little bit grizzly again today. It's hoping to get the pointing done, but I'll see how the weather plays out after lunchtime, I think. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Now you can see that's been foamed in and gravelled over. A few stones there. You can still see the light shining up. So that should just hold a little bit of water there and then trickle its way down here into the pond. A lot of the stream's been rocked in now. You can see I've got up to here. I've dug out up to the waterfall. Got a little shelf here. It's going to drop down. If you can see it here, the light. I've got an extra little pooling area. It's a little bit deeper down there. It's going to come back up again and run down the stream there. What I decided to do over here was, with all my excess soil, I created this berm here, and I'm going to actually sow this with some wildflowers because it does get a nice bit of sun and shade during the day here. Used up the excess slate from the old pond as a bit of a frame to it, stop it sliding to the shed, so we can keep it dry at the bottom of the shed there. So yeah, I'm going to put some wildflower seeds in there now, and then just put some old sort of chicken run wire over the top, keep the birds off it. They like digging around in here, and then we'll see how that develops over the next couple of months. Should be nice. So I think it's time for another update. I've been working all week and I've not really been filming what I'm doing. So as you can see, I've actually got the fish in now. Pond's running, stream's running. Got the old plant in from the original fish pond in the middle. I've got a basket with a couple of lilies in there. All the rest of the pond plants I've planted. I've just sort of wrapped them around in some hessian, tucked them in between rocks and stones, so they're actually going to draw the nutrients directly from the water, not planted in soil baskets. So that side there are all mulched. Got some white stone there for contrast. Some mulch here, some plants. Streams all running nice. Got the couple of pieces of some wooden logs there to sort of naturalise it all. This here is actually, as you can see, it's actually a wet bed. I've actually deliberately left the pond level, just sits under these stones here, so I've got some more aquatic plants I'm going to put on here, and then I'm going to finish it off with more of this Cotswold stone. So the roots are draw directly from the pond water again, just taking the nutrients out of the water. So I've got to about here, so I'll be planting all that side this afternoon. Front side's pretty much done. One of the stepping stones cemented in, I've just got another one there. I will be building a bridge from here to go over to the seating area, but this is just an extra little area. If I want to hop over to the shed, I can, with my long legs, 6'3", I can hop over on the stepping stones. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the waterfall turned out. I selected this stone out of the 12 in a big delivery of 300 to 600 mil boulders, and I thought that would look good as a weir stone. So I really like how the water comes off that. You can see you've got some nice white water, fills up in that pocket I created there, comes off the other side. Down there runs, this has been running about 4 or 5 days now. Clean through lovely. Obviously the Aquascape biofalls is doing its job. So the fish have been introduced about an hour ago. So see how they seem to be loving it. A lot more room for them in here. Can actually add some more. We're going to get some more fish. I think we're going to get 6 bumpkins later. Add to the goldfish. Sun's just come out, lovely. So the only thing I will be doing here, I'm going to cover these with some. I've got some small whiskey barrels I'm going to cut, turn them into planters. So cut the bottoms off, sit them over the top, the electrics and the those in, still allowing for some access. Plant the top of them, and then I'm going to over here add in one more water butt help feed this pond. Again, that's converted an old wooden whiskey barrel into a water butt. Add to my collection of water butts, because I've got one there, I had the one by the shed, I've got 3 more around the back there that come off the roof of the house. Never have enough free water, especially when you've got all these water areas to feed. A wildlife pond, so we've had a bit of sunshine lately, not much rain, so I'll be topping that up again. Tadpoles still in there doing well, so hopefully turn into some froglets in maybe 4 to 6 weeks time. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. So this area here, I put some this plastic edging around. I'm going to turn this over, get to the subsoil, put that on the top, reverse the topsoil. I'm going to sow this with some wildflower seeds, make a little mini meadow. Again, that's what I've done over there, where I've got the old metal rabbit run protecting. I've sowed all that with wildflower seeds as well, made a rockery with my spare stones. So that will be hopefully growing in a few weeks' time. You see some wildflowers starting to shoot up. Grass seed down here, where I've just working on the cement mixer, so hopefully start kicking in soon. So yeah, it's come along really nicely. Really happy with it so far. Today is a good day. Everything is now planted in and out the pond, around the edges. All the edges are done. Waterfalls running, water's nice and clear. We have added to our 5 original goldfish. We've now got 3 pumpkins, and I've got 2 koi. Can't see them at the moment, but one of the koi is a lovely gold colour. I've named him C-3PO, being a big Star Wars geek. And we have a white one with an orange face, and obviously I've called him Admiral Akbar. So they're all getting on really well in there. I've got some marsh marigold, and I've got some reeds. We've got some creeping jennies, one planted there ready to go over the waterfall, one over there. There's flag iris over there. I've got a feeding ring this time because of the skimmer box. So I've just put the food pellets in the water here. We just all end up in the skimmer box within about 20 seconds. So got that tethered onto that log on the end there. So that's all good. So yeah, I've still got some netting over this where I just reseeded the grass, where I had the cement mixer earlier when I was doing all the paving. So we've got 2 lavenders here, which I deliberately cut out the tiles for, planted them into the ground. Another lavender in the pot, which is an existing one which we've kept. I've added a French lavender over there, by the side of the spillway bowl. I've got a heather going over the side there. I've reused a lot of my other plants. So I've added another creeping jenny here. I've got a marsh marigold over there in these wet beds. I've just added them another layer of the Cotswold stone, as well as a different shade that's still moist. The rest of it's dried out by the sun today. So yeah, another marsh marigold in the stream section there. Just planted as much as I can along here, just take the nutrients out of the water. Got some grasses, some roses already had left over. Over here I've got some sedums and some flaxes. They're going to act as like carpets that are spread out over the mulch of the bark when they're fully formed, and that'll act as a nice colourful colour. Replanted the rose at the back there. Some more grasses here going. Bluebells are already growing. Got another heather over there. And then the junipers on the top. It's when they're fully formed. I've got my replanted my verbena, which I really love. They have a lovely purple colour. I had them last year, got one there, and the other one is the other side of the spillway bowl. So when they get into full bloom, they go an amazing purple colour. Everyone that comes around always says, "What's that plant?" So now everybody knows. Cemented in these stepping stones for me to get over to the other side. I say a couple of jobs remaining. I will be making a small little footbridge to go over here to the seating area. I've got a whiskey barrel which I'm going to convert into a water butt, which is going to sit here, and I've got 2 half whiskey barrels which I'm going to cut the bottoms off, sit over the electrics and where the dosing device is, still leaving access build a shelf near the top and use them as planters, so that'll tie in with a kind of whiskey barrel theme there. Yeah, that's it. Good couple of months work doing all this paving, digging it out. I've shifted some tons. I think in the end it's about 6 or 7 tons of boulders and stones for the pond and stream. About 12 tonne of hardcore, plus the paving slabs, plus all the sand and cement, all done by hand, all brought in by wheelbarrow and sack barrow by myself. So yeah, once I've done these last couple of jobs, I'm going to earn a perch on that bench over there with a beer, I think, and enjoy the sound and the sight of the water running and the fish in the pond. Okay, so next step is to build this little arch bridge going over the stream so we can get to the seating area. So it's going to start about here, finish there. Okay, so to create the arch, I've got the length cut to cover the distance of the stream and a little bit of flat at either end. I've got a middle point. I've just got this tile trim and I've just screwed it at various points to hold it, drawn a pencil line, that bottom piece will be cut out, stuck on top, and that will give me the top of the arch for the bridge. So that's cut. That's it, a few screws there for the curve. So that's how the 2 pieces of wood are going to sit. You can see the arch curving underneath. So I'm going to get a couple of screws, fixing from the top, a few more from the bottom. Do the same with the other piece, and then I'll join them with 2 strengthening pieces in the middle, and then we'll start adding the slats. That's one side screwed together. I've just got now to repeat that to the other side, and then we'll get them joined together. Also adding some wood glue before I screw the 2 sides together, just for extra strength. And that's one of the sides screwed and glued. It'll be nice and sturdy. So we'll get them side by side in a minute. And we'll get some cross beams for strength, and we can start putting the bits of decking across the top to make the actual walkway itself. So as you can see, I've got 2 screws on every corner, just holding those supports in there, keeping that apart. I'm going for 500mm between the insides with my width. And it's a case now of cutting up the decking boards and screwing them with equal spacing across the top to create the archway. So I've just put it roughly in place where it's going to go. Obviously the treads aren't fixed in yet, but I just wanted to see how it was doing for angle and length. I'm pretty happy with that. What I'm going to do here is just dig out the soil there and put a little concrete base to fix that to that end. So it's nice and level. Obviously pack the stones up that end, or maybe even add some cement that end as well actually. Just so it's sat on 2 good solid surfaces either end then. And then we'll go from there. So all the treads have been cut and they're just loose laid at the moment. I'm just going to start screwing them in place now. I'm using this bit of 50mm pipe as a spacer to keep even distance between them. That'll work out just with a nice even overhang at the end of both ends of the bridge. So that's all screwed in place now. What I'm going to do now is turn it upside down, paint the bottom first with a couple of coats, and then reverse it, give the top a couple of coats, get it in place, cement it in, and it'll be ready to use. So what I've done here is got these half whiskey barrels, and I've cut out the bottom, that's the electrics, and this one is for the auto dose and the aerator. And then I'm going to put a full shelf in both of those, and then a planting pot on top, cover them, add a bit more colour to the garden. Another little job I did was just to make this Helen-proof frame. It's just some metal wire constructed in some timber, got a leg support so it sort of fits this pond. Doesn't cover it completely, but I didn't really want it to. I still want to let the plants grow through. You can see the reeds are growing through there. The fish cage should ideally be enough, but my wife and children are a little bit worried about the fish, so when we go away for the weekend or whatever, we'll leave this on. But when we have people around and we're sitting out here, I'll just take this off, put it to one side, so we can enjoy how the pond actually really should look. Okay, so now I'm just trying to sort out this water butt. So I bought this whiskey barrel, and the top of it was actually solid. So I've cut that off, and I've cut that down at an angle so that lid will actually be removable on there, once it's obviously cut around to the right place. And I've got this rope here. I'm going to drill 2 holes in here, tie that through the bottom, and then that'll act as a handle to lift that on and off. Then what I've got to do is get in there and drill out some tap-ins for the stopcocks for the water outlet. I'm going to do this, connect this one to an auto feed on the pond. So I'm going to run a permanent pipe around the shed and the bit of pergola there, and it's going to sit here on top of a half whiskey barrel to lift it off the floor, run the pipe under there, and then take out these chip-ins, bury it under here, and that'll go to an autofill valve. That way we get this roof here gets a lot of rainfall, so during the summer I'll have a decent bit of water stored up. So between the autofill and the overflow, this is pretty much like a perfect plumbing system, really, as I look at it, being a plumber. It's going to maintain a permanent level, which is ideal, so you don't have to worry about topping it up when the sun comes out, or if we get a lot of rain, which I've had recently, when about it overflowing, because as I showed earlier, it's got a soakaway overflow run over there. Just as I speak. There's this piece of wood I've painted, given a couple of coats, cupinol, and that's just sat just over the diameter of that, and I get the water butt on top, and that'll be a nice surface for it to stand on. Halfway through painting first coat the underside of the bridge now, just using this black ash coloured decking stain, cupinol, anti-slip finish apparently, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going to give it a couple of coats both sides, and that'll be ready to sit in place then. First coat done, let that dry off and do a second. I've got the bridge in place now, so just put some cement down, that's just setting, give that a day and we can walk across there. So I'm really happy with that. Just push those stones back in over the cement, put some soil around there. I'm sure underneath there would be a good place for the frogs to shelter from the sun as well, if they want to. Hello again. Right, just thought I'd do a video update really. It's been 2 months since I finished the garden stream and pond project, everything planted, and I just thought I'd show you how everything has filled in and grown in that time. So I know I've got the custom made pond cover on it at the moment, but you can still see everything under there. So planters have filled in nicely. Got a little vegetable section here, well, orange tree, lime tree, sorry. I've got some tomatoes and peppers growing. I've got some cucumbers doing very nicely there too, so that's all good. You can see the 2 water lily plants have really come on. Nice pink flower on show here. Fish are loving it. Water's staying nice and clean thanks to the Aquascape ecosystem I've fitted. Got the skimmer box there. Once we've got the biofilm with the media up at the top section, all the beneficial bacteria in the system, keeping the water clean. The plants are there, providing some shade and cover and taking the nutrients away from the water. all these garlic mustards I planted. These were just little plugs really. I planted about 6 weeks ago, and they've all come on nice. Got my ready for my sloe gene there. My blackthorn bushes growing nicely. Sedums are all starting to fill out around here. I've had some of the little new frogs that we've just had in the pond, and the bigger frogs from last year. Seen them in the stream section and over in the fish pond, over from the wildlife pond section as well, which is great. So yeah, this is where I planted this section just at the end of April. We're now mid-July. Just some wildflowers. This was a bit of a dead section. I thought I'd make some use of it, and yeah, we get bees and butterflies. Obviously all the pollinators around that area. Same as over here with this section. This was planted about 2 weeks after that section over there, again with a bee and butterfly and wildflower mix, and it's just a massive colour now, and you can see all the bees and butterflies love it. Floating around there. So yeah, everything's just filling in nicely now. I've got the red fuchsia at the back. Wildlife pond's doing great. I've got 7 or 8 baby newts in there. So all the tadpoles have hatched now, and they've got these tiny little froglets hopping around the garden, sort of size of my little fingernail. So hopefully they stay safe from predators, and we can see a few more full-size frogs in a couple of months to add to a collection that we've got in here. Bridge is still holding up. So yeah, really happy with it all now. So we've got this table and chairs now, so we sit out here a lot. The barbecue section over in the corner. So yeah, definitely enjoying the outdoor lifestyle now.